Barnum went to great lengths to make sure these animals survived, but I wouldn't say he went to great lengths to make sure they were comfortable or happy. And to get all of his exotic animals, he used international dealers, which we kind of would now call poachers, and foreign consulships. So like an American living abroad who could keep their ear to the ground and listen for any unusual exotic animal stories, I guess. And in 1861, Barnum gets word that a group of Canadian fishermen have captured a white whale near the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. And Barnum lost it. He had to have this whale. He started to design this special train car that was lined with seaweed to transport this whale to America. And he had attendants with sponges funneling salt water into the whale's mouth and blowhole. But unfortunately, this is where his logic stopped, because he began prepping a tank in his basement. And this is prior to the period where it was common to have electricity in your home. So his basement was filled with gas lamps. He built a 40-foot by 18-foot brick and cement tank. And while this first whale was on its way to Barnum's museum, Barnum himself went to Canada to make sure he could get another one. He wanted two in this tank. And somehow he coordinated this. He did get two, almost on the same day in New York City. However, this is where I'm not sure what he was thinking, because he had the foresight to make sure there was salt water in the transportation, but he filled the basement tanks with fresh water, uncirculating fresh water at that. And because he was using gas lamps, it was super hot in his basement. It took less than 2 days for these poor whales to perish. But Barnum was still determined to have whales in his museum. So he bribed a local alderman for the right to pump salt water from the New York harbor directly into his museum. And then he built a $4,000, 24 square foot tank, this time on the museum's second floor. And this new tank had a base of slate and sides made of 1-inch thick glass that he had specially imported. Barnum successfully got 2 more whales, put those whales in the tank, and they raked in the dough for him. But still, after a short run, these 2 also perished. This time simply because the environment kind of depressed them. They just slowly died. But by December of 1861, he was trying again, and he got a 3rd pair of whales from off the coast of Labrador. And somehow, these 2 whales adapted to the museum environment. But on July 13th, 1865, Barnum's first museum caught fire at around noon. Out of the dozens of large animals he had, and hundreds of small animals, only a handful managed to escape. The largest animal to survive this fire was a seal named Ned, who was Barnum's most famous animal, and thankfully one of the museum staff members thought to release the birds. So all of the birds survived, and many of the snakes also escaped, but they escaped into a crowd of spectators watching the museum burn. And this crowd either trampled most of them or killed them with sticks. Barnum had a polar bear, lions, kangaroos, monkeys, a hippo, and of course the 2 beluga whales, all of which perished in this fire. And unfortunately, the exact same thing happened to all the new exotic animals he acquired at his second museum.